Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GameReplays.org TS2 Invitational. This is Game 2 between DWI and DRD. DWI took the first game in somewhat of a long game, back and forth, back and forth. Good commentary by myself and Yawning Angel, who is with me here again. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I didn't rate the commentary last game. I thought it was completely and utterly substandard, unprofessional, and generally noobish, and I wouldn't recommend it to a friend. Moving aside, I'm very happy to be here, obviously, and I'm looking forward to DRD making this as exciting as they did last time by almost making me wrong when I said that DWI were going to win, and if they do this again, I shall be very, very unhappy. Right, shall we go through the bands? Firstly, Andromeda, Engineer, Kronos, Forsaken Archer, Soulstealer, and M4. These are very, very boring bands. 5 permabands plus Andromeda, who is one of the sort of interchangeable pool of ganking orientated early game heroes that sometimes get banned. And Dr. Repulsor and Flint, who also sometimes get banned, but basically very, very dull bands.
Cool. So you don't like the bands?
Well, Engineer's banned every game. M4 is banned every game. Kronos is banned every game by anyone with half a brain cell. Forsaken Archer's banned every game, and Soulstealer's banned every game. And really, when 5 of the 6 bans every single game are pretty much the same, I start losing interest because it's pretty much the case of how fast can I click on the relevant heroes. So unless someone decides to do something fantastically interesting and change what they're banning, or decides that Engineer isn't as broken as he obviously is, there's not really much to choose between them.
Okay. Cool.
Anyway, enough of my stroke Britishness, and on with the actual business of deciding the picks. First pick, Witch Slayer, which is pretty decent since he's a fairly good ganker. I mean, there's not a lot to choose between him and all the other early game gankers because they all have a very similar role these days, but he's as good as any, and I guess he scales to late game better than some. Magnus and Glacier's picked up. Again, boring early game stuff. Dr. Repulsor and Flint for DWI. They worked fairly well for them last time. I'm guessing they might try and incorporate them into the same sort of 3 carry strat they did in the last game. The interesting pickup, for me at least, is Gladiator from DRD. So, Jester, tell us all about him.
Well, Gladiator is the Kunkka port from Dota, and he makes quite the cool sound effects whenever you cycle through his dialogue. If you cycle through all of his dialogue, they're basically ripped off right out of the Gladiator movie. Kurt Russell is kind of not being paid for any of this, I don't think, but, you know, our secret, don't tell him. I doubt he plays this game anyways. But, you know, he's also a great butt of the joke of pitfall victims fly up into the air, and your argument is invalid. Other than that, he's a great ganker using Showdown, Flagellation, Pitfall. Fun times to be had. Call to Arms is his ultimate, brings in this giant chariot of spiky death. And so far, I really haven't seen anyone use it to a good degree. So, I hope we...
Fresh Pro.
Fresh Pro?
TSOG.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it's been used.
I didn't see it.
Fresh Pro uses everything. If it's a hero, Fresh Pro will pick it, basically. But yeah, I mean, Fresh Pro actually did something with it pre-buff when it was horribly bad. Seen a little bit of it since from, I think, TSOG, so we've definitely seen something of him. He works fairly well early game. I mean, he's a pretty solid ganker with his Pitfall ability, and Flagellation actually makes him quite a decent aggressive solo mid against certain heroes, so if you can fit him into the right lineup, then he's definitely a very powerful pick. Kind of depends on things.
Speaking of powerful picks, looks like they are going to indeed try a Tempest this round. Eternal Envy taking that, so he'll be off jungling, popping out for a quick snipe, and he'll be the main initiator down the line.
Yeah, I guess that DWI are going to run a semi-tri lane around Hammerstorm, Witch Slayer, Tempest, probably Flint taking the solo mid and Dr. Repulsor the Get Raped solo, but I'm not going to commit to that. DRD, I think they're pretty much going with what they went with last time. I mean, it's, again, probably looking at the team going to be focused around not necessarily being a strong ganking team. DWI is trying to push lanes, force these team fights. Thematically, it's very similar. They've got a couple of early game gankers in Magnus and Glaciers. They've got heroes who have quite a lot to offer in team fights in Magnus, Glaciers, Gladiator, and Bubbles, and they've got like hard carry with some good team fight abilities in the Dark Lady. So I'm not sure how they're going to work these lanes. Normally, I like to see Dark Lady in a tri-lane. That's what we've seen best, where Scandal from Empire using them. Seeing Dark Lady being used by Clan Feel against Empire, not in a tri-lane and being completely steamrolled. So I'd like to see DRD trying to fit her into tri-lane, but I don't see where the possibility exists. So overall, for me, I prefer DWI's picks. It's a proven route. It's essentially what they did last game. you know, just ship out with 3 carries.
Still there?
And stuff. Yeah, so basically, I'm kind of interested in seeing how these lanes work out. I mean, I'd guess DWI are going to run a pseudo tri lane with a Tempest jungling, but apparently they're too cool for that, and they're sending some weird and wacky tri with Flint, Hammerstorm, and Witch Slayer, which doesn't make much sense to me, with a Tempest solo bottom. Yeah, do not want.
So they're gonna try that Tempest in the laning phase, at least for now.
Well, we've seen MSI do it and actually work quite well just by having elemental spam and push against it. It'll be held by the fact he's up against only just a set of bubbles, or in fact a dual lane. So I'm guessing this could work out, but we'll have to see how it goes. The interesting question, presumably, actually, this top lane's going to go all their way, and Dotally solo mid. So the 2 things I'm interested in seeing here are, 1, how well is this Hammerstorm going to work out? Because presumably he's going to get screwed royally for farms, and Raiko will be taking it all. And 2, how well is this Dark Lady going to work out? Because if Thingamajigmy WAC playing this Dark Lady for DRD is able to get a good farm off early and take over the game like we've seen Phoebe do with her, it has the potential to really, really, really screw things up for everyone. Gank in the top lane, that is a beautiful use of a ward, and exactly how not to do it from DRD, just walking straight up blithely into their tower. Bloodlust for Hammerstorm. It wouldn't surprise me if Gladiator died, but it doesn't look like DWI are going to do it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not just blithely sit back and block your own troops, but leg it to the tower and hide there, or just hang really, really far back, because as you've just seen, that is a perfect example from DWI of how to stick a ward there and gank the poor sod walking past. Anyway, now that DRD are done making elementary mistakes, let's see how things pan out. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I mean, we've seen Phoebe from Empire was the big one for trying to take over games with the Dark Lady solo mid. Repulsor's quite a hard customer to pull it off against because it's very hard to control the runes against him, and he's got a very solid attack animation, but yeah, I guess it could work. We'll just have to see how it goes. Jester, talk. I'm hogging the
Well, I was waiting for you to take a breath, that's all.
I'm British. I don't.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, down south we got Bubbles Magmus going in, so that's an interesting combo on Tempest, who is not jungling. So he is a laning Tempest, and that we still have Dr. Reposo mid. I guess he doesn't really care too much about that Dark Lady, but last time, was it Whack who was mid last time as well?
No, he was the one playing the Chronos. It was Warden who was playing solo mid with Bubbles last time.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, quite right. So Dr. Repulsor now going over to Slicks. So he's in the mid with,
Jester.
yeah, what's up, duder? You can't hear me, can you? That's awesome. Great. Oh man. Yep, this cast is gonna be fun. Anyway, so we got Flint Beastwood here mid with Witch Slayer. This isn't mid, this is top. So no worries there. And I don't know what this Hammerstorm, I guess he wants to go around roaming with Dr. Repulsor. And he's just gonna, supposedly, he's gonna come up here, find Gladiator and Glacius. I guess is gonna chase them off, stop them from warding, stop them from farming that. And looks like Glacius has been found by that Witch Slayer. Down goes the stun by Hammer, so I'm going to try body blocking here. And Flint coming in, picking that up, no problem. I don't know why we're having such Skype issues.
No, me neither.
Whatever.
Anyway, assuming we can get on with life for the moment, or at least what passes for it. Jester, sorry, I presumably interrupted you in something.
Nope, it was just a kill on Glacius. 2-0 now for this DWI team, taking, well, I guess an early lead is what everyone should be able to call it. And Tempest is down south against both Bubbles and King Raven.
Yeah, I mean, thus far, this Tempest is actually working out fairly well because he's doing what we saw Ducky doing, which is essentially just not bothering to enter into the lane. He's keeping it really, really close to his tab, doing a very good job of controlling the lane by denying his own ranged creeps with the elementals, and just using the elementals to last hit for him, because actually they're pretty damn good at it when you consider them as a unit, since there's 3 of them and they all hit for about 20 odd damage, so they work quite well. Action on Gladiator, but Hammerstorm's too busy off doing whatever he does in the trees to actually help out with that, so that was probably a missed opportunity. And really, I like what DWI have done. This Tempest is handling the 2v1 quite well, although that said he's about to die if things don't go his way here, but okay, he didn't, so handling things quite well. Gladiator's about to go down in his top lane, God willing, and more relevantly, Hammerstorm's hammer willing. He lands a pitfall on Witch Slayer, but Witch Slayer for Gladiator is probably worth doing, especially since giving kills up to Hammerstorm and Sniper is far worse than giving kills up to a Gladiator who dies anyway. Actually seeing, I mean, the one disadvantage of what DWI are doing is that by sending this Tempest bottom lane, they've essentially got no cover against ganks to the middle lane, which is exactly what we see there from King Raven, presumably. Yes, King Raven. So yes, I mean, that's the disadvantage of having the Tempest playing really, really defensively and just denying everything. He can't give you good warning of missing kills because he doesn't notice them. But aside from that, it's all working out fairly well, really. And I like what DWI are doing because they're managing that 2v or 1v2 lane really well. Their tri lane's actually putting pretty significant pressure on this 3v2 lane. And Dr. Boss is probably just about edging out Dark Lady as solo mid, or was prior to being brutally killed. So generally, I'd say things are going DWI's way. They've got a fairly decent 3-carry strat running, and they look to be taking it away in the early game. So this is about as good as it could be going for them, really.
Alright, well, down south, it looks like Magma's coming in with the Bubbles. Bubble and that shell surfing. No problem coming in there. You still can't hear me? Good times. Okay, whatever. This is a technical cast. This is, yeah, gonna be fun. But Magmas and Bubbles able to take them down. Yeah, so that Tempest, I mean, he might be doing well, but he still has no escape mechanisms, especially with someone with as much coverage as a Bubbles can afford.
Well, I think it's pretty inevitable, really. I mean, if you're pushed like that, it's very, very hard to stick around unless you have a flipping good escape mechanism. But thus far, Eternal been doing a very good job. Tirana gets picked off somewhere around here. Dark Lady doing a very good job trying to come out with a kill there, 1v2 that I'm sure the double damage probably helped. And really, I mean, it's still going DWI's way, but DRD looking at better now, having got a couple of kills off. They do need to do that. They can't let DWI get too far ahead. However, fantastic luring, really, from Slicks in that mid lane, just leading Dark Lady on, and then great timing from Dirge Snoopy coming in. Slicks might actually go down here. No, Magma's not going to pull that off. King Raven